Okay, thumbnail. Oh wait, actually, Charlie, get in here. Okay, thumbnail. So here's my thumbnail. One of these will be my thumbnail. Anyways, okay, so I'm not really having a super great day or like general time right now, but it's okay. It happens. I still want to share with you the books that I read this summer, but I just don't really have the energy to like edit a video or like really be sitting straight up right now, so I just decided that I would show you the books that I read while I lay down. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's start. These are not in order of when I read them, by the way. Okay. Also, this is Charlie. He's my stuffed rabbit, but he is real and has, well, he's real because he has a soul, a real soul. First book, Henry Miller, A Devil in Paradise. This is the first Henry Miller book that I ever read. Kind of a funny decision because it's written from it's like autobiographical. It's actually him talking about his own life. So kind of interesting to read this, because now when I read his other books, which I think are fiction, I'm gonna be like, oh, I know you. This is about him letting this guy stay in his house in Big Sur with his wife, Anais Nin, and okay, don't do that. And yeah, he just kind of, he's a terrible house guest to Henry Miller, and he's crazy and he's weird and not very fun to have in the house. Low-key, I feel like he could have said something earlier, but that's just me. Kind of giving pushover vibes. So that's my take on that. Then we have The Snow Was Dirty by Georges Simenon. This is about 19-year-old Frank, and he is living in some country that they never say, but it's very snowy and cold there during World War II, and it's occupied, and so the economy is really bad and really messed up. His mom is a brothel owner, and they run the brothel out of their home, so Frank is living inside of this brothel, and he also is living a life of crime. It literally starts out he murders someone. That is the first 5 pages of the book, just because he wants to see what it's like. So he's a bit psychotic, and it's just following his descent into crime. Yep. Then, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I had not seen the movie before reading this, but then I read it and then saw the movie, and I thought the movie was fantastic. I thought the book was great, which is kind of rare because recently I have been seeing movies that are based on books that have been bad. One of the reasons why I had a bad day is because I saw a movie that I did not like, but the book was just way better. I saw Death in Venice. Yeah. I love when rich people fight. I love when they argue. I love when they throw glasses of alcohol at each other. And this is a play. Never really read plays, but I actually quite enjoyed the play, reading it in a play, because it's so much dialogue that it doesn't really need very much who, what, where, when, why. It just gets that all done in straight up dialogue. And it was really fun to watch the movie. I love Elizabeth Taylor. Next. Pig details. A novel of lust and transformation. This is about a prostitute who's prostituting out of a resort, and she is the most popular girl she's doing the best, she's making the most money, she's the most popular, but then she quite literally, physically transforms into a pig. And the book is about her transformation into being a pig. I'm pretty sure it's an allegory for aging and the way that women are treated as they age, but it's borderline body horror, I would say. It's a feminist novel, body horror, unofficial body horror novel, because the way that they talk about her transformation, or the way that the author Marie, damn, that's a long ass French name. I'm not gonna say her last name because I don't want to upset the French people. Well, I actually don't care about upsetting French people. I just don't want to say it because I don't know how. She writes some nasty fucking descriptions about skin in this book. It's a really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, next. If you don't like listening to twinks in bars who are on coke or other uppers complain about society or their lives or talk about all the ways that they're being wronged by the world and that they are the most, like, you will not super enjoy this book, but it is interesting because this is, I didn't even say the title. It's Taylor Mead on Amphetamine and in Europe. It's literally just like a transcript of his journal from the 60s, and, you know, he's going to fucking Andy Warhol's house. He's going to Washington Square Park and sitting there and thinking about how much of a genius he is. And it's like it's like ironic, a lot of it. It's totally, I just like, I'm kind of a hater on, like, well, I don't fuck with Andy Warhol, but it's like a piece of New York history, whatever. This book, this is the one that I finished most recently, actually. The Journal of Albion Moonlight by Kenneth Patchen. If I was 16 and read this, I would have thought that it was the best book that has ever been written. And I really enjoyed it. But I mean, like, if I was 16 and I read this, I would think I was hot fucking shit. I would make it my whole personality. It's the Journal of Albion Moonlight, it's a fictional journal. But it's just like crazy, like, it doesn't make any sense. It's about a group of people it's also about World War II, actually. They're like in this low-key, like, apocalyptic world of, like, danger at every turn. It's good. It's really good. It's, like, very interesting and very fun to read. The writing style is really cool. I'm just feeling like in a hateful mood. That's why I was being such a dweeb about it. But it's true. Like, if I was 16, I would have thought that was the best book I'd ever read. Then I got all of these at once. They're all short stories, so I'll go through them quickly. Clarice Lispector, Daydream and Drunkenness of a Young Lady. This was 3 of her short stories. Before she got published as an author, she was in the newspapers. Milan Kundera, Let the Old Dead Make Room for the Young Dead. Guess what it's Milan Kundera. Guess what it's about? Ding, ding, ding. It's about a young man and an old woman who had a sexual affair, and they are arguing about their roles in each other's lives. And then Gina Barnes, the Lydia Steptoes stories. Also 3 short stories. Yeah. Next. Bonjour Tristes, or Hello Sadness in English. This, Francoise Sagan wrote this when she was a teenager, and it has descriptions of sex and love in it, and also, like, kind of promiscuous sex and love. So people in France, when this came out in, like, the 40s or something, people were like, what the fuck? This is a fun read. It's like teenage girl meddles in her father's step life. I love when teenage girls meddle. I love when they get into shit that has nothing to do with them. The only thing is this specific copy that I got from the free little library near my house, it literally, it just like, it goes up to page 122 and then just stops and then starts over. So I had to read the last like 50 pages on a PDF online. Next, Milena by Ingeborg Bachmann. This book, I really enjoyed it. It's like such a read on the way that men play such massive roles in the lives of women that like sometimes, or like femme people, that sometimes we like can't even tell apart like what our own thoughts are and like what their influence is and like what our own opinions are and like who's speaking for us even when we're alone thinking in our own heads. Is it the influence of men? I thought this was great. I was looking up like what other people thought about the book, and like there's 3 characters. The author, who's never named, which is symbolic of her like fucking shell of a personality because she's obsessed with these 2 men. They're all that she can really think about. And then there's Milena, who's her like husband figure, but he's like, it says that he, in the book it says he's not her husband. And then there's Ivan, who's her boyfriend. She's having an affair with Ivan. A lot of people said that they thought that Ivan wasn't real and that like it was like symbolism. I think that Ivan is real, but I think that Milena is not real. So tell me what you think if you want. Also, I know that there's a movie for this. I've heard that the movie is not that great. So if the movie is that great or isn't that great, let me know. Okay, then I read this, They Should Have Served That Cup of Coffee, 7 Radicals Remember the 60s. This I picked up originally because there's a really cool bookstore in Seattle called like Clara's Books. It's inside of a community center. It's all like socialist and anti-war and like race theory type books. So I got that there. Don't do that. One of the stories in here, and the reason why I bought it, is from the perspective of someone who was there for the 1968 Columbia protests against the Vietnam War. And then I bought it because I was in New York as a university student this past year during the protests for Palestine, and I was just really curious what this guy thought about his time there, reflecting on it 20 years later. Okay, next. Copy, Queen's Ball. This is, I'll read the back because it's kind of hard to explain. Set among the flamboyant demi-monde of the 1970s Paris underground, The Queen's Ball follows the narrator Copy in his attempt to write a novel as life comes undone around him. It's basically a gay-ass, drug-fueled-ass, like, delusional run-on story that's like, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And every one of those, like, happenings is just the most fuck shit you've ever heard, and it takes place in, like, Paris and Ibiza and maybe New York. I forget. I think Paris and Ibiza for sure though. It's like, it's crazy. It's like some things I can totally see this being from like the author's experience, but then also like hella shit in here is just so over the top that it's an indulgent read. Like it's a fun read, not too heavy on the old noggin. Okay, this is the last book I'm sharing. It's Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector. And yep, this is the first book that she ever... I just got so tired. This is the first book that she ever... full book that she ever wrote, and it's really good. It's like... it falls, I feel like, in the middle of the spectrum of her writing. Like, it's definitely that, like, esoteric, super descriptive type writing, and, like, the run-on sentences and, like, no structure type writing, but also there is a plot, kind of. There's at least, like, a character with thoughts and, like, interactions with other characters. But yeah, very good. I cannot believe how young she was when she was such a successful author. Makes me feel really weird about myself. Okay. Those are all the books I read this summer. I think that's 1, 2, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then like 13, and then some of the short little books. So like 14 books. Pretty good, I feel like. I didn't have like a goal or anything. So if you don't have goals, then you can't not make them. You know what I mean? Okay.